Of course, it's wonderful if you can leave your children some money, but passing on some wisdom might be even more valuable. I'm Jack Otter, editor of BARRON'S.com. I'm here with Scott Magnesen, a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. So you work with a lot of multi-generational families. You work with the parents who obviously came to you in the first place, so they're concerned about investing properly. But now the worry is making sure that their children can be equally responsible. So you have 3 lessons that you say it's important to pass on to the millennial generation.
Absolutely. Most of my clients are baby boomers, and came to me when they were in their 20s and 30s. Now they're in their 60s or 70s. And their children, obviously, some of them have good habits, some of them don't. So one of the things all my clients like to do is spend some time with their children, explaining some good habits when you first start investing. The first one would be, obviously, to make sure you live within your means. Very simply, if you spend less than you make, there's $1 to invest. If you spend just $1 more than you make, you're going to have an issue. So I have many, many clients that make $200,000 and $300,000, and they live on $300,000 and $400,000. Their net worth does not grow. So obviously, getting children early on to understand a budget, have a budget. It's been proven that 65% of Americans do not even have a budget. So if you can get your kids instilled for importance of living within their means and in getting a budget, that's number one.
And then number 2 is, of course, it seems so obvious to those of us who talk about this all the time, and yet so few people actually do it. And it's when somebody offers you free money, take it.
Right, well, absolutely. The one thing that's important to do is when you first start out in your work career, you need to start saving right away. You can't wait till the day before your son or daughter goes to college or the day before you retire to plan. So I would suggest that time is more important than even the return you make. If you can start early, it will help you dramatically.
And one reason there is because of the power of compounding.
Exactly right.
And it's really the out years that you need, not those first 10 or 20 years.
Exactly right. So if you can imagine that young person that starts their first job at age 23 and can put 5 or 6 or 7% in their 401k plan, and the company might match on the first 4 or 5%, and they start at age 23, that money will compound for probably 30 years of their life. It'll be sizable. That same young person that waits till 35 or 40 to start will have probably 1/3 the money because of the power of compounding. Same thing with children and grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren now, and the minute each grandchild's born, I instill on my sons the importance of putting money away, and I as grandfather step in too, because if we can have that money grow for 18 years, by the time that child goes to college, it's a much smaller investment to cover their college at age 1 than it will be if we wait till age 14 or 15.
And people should know that the 529 plan is actually a fantastic savings vehicle. Some states give you a tax break for putting money in, which is very rare, and then, of course, it compounds tax-free.
Right, absolutely. This is a gift from the government, and when we get those, we want to make sure we use those. And certainly it's a good thing to save for college. We all want our kids to be educated. And the nice thing about the 529 is if one child doesn't need the money because of a scholarship or decides not to go, you can pass it on to other children, nieces, nephews. I even have some clients that have passed it on to grandchildren.
And your lesson number 3 is get educated. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been amazed at the gulf in financial knowledge. Of course, there are many sophisticated investors, a lot of them read Barron's, but then there's some people who just don't even get the low-hanging fruit. I wrote a book for them about very simple lessons that you need to know. How do you convey those?
Absolutely, it's important to learn. I taught at a community college for 25 years for young adults and at night, and I try to get them to learn as early as possible because with knowledge becomes power. You are comfortable. When the markets nowadays are so volatile, if you understand why you're investing and your time horizon is a long one, you tend to go through these volatile periods very, very easily. If, on the other hand, you don't understand and you're watching the television and you're watching a 1,000-point drop in a day, the natural instinct, instead of buying, is to sell. So what you need to do is get educated enough on stocks, mutual funds, bonds, how you build an asset allocation model, and it's not complicated now. There's several books, there's tons of magazines as of yours where you can learn basics of investing, and as you learn the basics of investing, it becomes much more enjoyable.
And we should explain that some people, they're not going to go deep on this. They really don't have to. If you understand the basics, the low-hanging fruit, you can then go on and be an artist or whatever you want to do. Just know exactly, as you say, that selling is not the thing you do at the bottom of the market.
The key is, that's why you need obviously a trusted advisor in most cases, because a trusted advisor, what they will do is when you get in those markets where you see your portfolio going down, it's nice to pick up the phone and call and have someone remind you of why you're in this, that you're in it for the long haul, and that you sleep during periods like this and not be nervous. So some people try to do that on their own, and you have to empower yourself with lots of knowledge because otherwise you will make mistakes. So sometimes having a trusted advisor certainly early on helps dramatically during those volatile periods.
One of your jobs is just to talk people off the ledge.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, Scott.
Thank you.